Hi, welcome to week one of Introduction to Programming. I'm Sister Sansavedo, your instructor, and let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. First, I'm going to tell you how to get to the program. I will tell you, this is the second time today I've tried to record this because my VS Code froze up on me and I had to close it out and start it back over. So, if you go to your home page, and go to week one. And then you will have had to have done all the setup tool stuff first, and it would have helped to listen to the lesson videos that teach you how to do what you're supposed to do. But then you go to the Code Along Activity ID Badge Generator. And with this, there's a little link here, and that will take you to the instructions. And you can read through all this, but basically what we're doing is making a sample ID badge that is going to look something like this with these things filled in. And they give an example here. So it's going to say, it's going to look like this. Okay. So that's what we're doing. I have copied this information over to VS Code so we don't have to flip back and forth. And then I've written in steps for myself. You'll see I do this throughout the term. So I plan out the code before I start coding so I know what I'm doing. Step one, we need to print out this for the user so they know what they're inputting for their batch. And then we'll print out the template after that. So the first thing we have to do is just say, please enter the following information. And notice that I've left a space here. And that is because we want a good user experience for the people using our programs, and we don't want everything mashed up against the colon. Then I'm going to start getting them to input the information. Now I want a space between the two things, the inputs and the information, where we are telling them, here's what I want you to do. Hold on just a second. There's someone. I apparently have to take some medicine. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I think I said in the announcements that I'm doing cancer treatments, and some of the medicines have to be taken at very specific times. And because I had to stop the early recording and start over, that pushed my time back and I had to take that medicine. So I apologize. Okay, so print, please enter the following information. Now I'm just going to test this first to make sure it's working, because it's important you test your code as you go so you don't do a bunch of work and then find out there's a problem. And it says, there we go. It printed exactly what I wanted. Please enter the following information. Now, as we test and test and test, this terminal screen will get a little crowded. So if you want to clear that to make your life easier, you just actually type in clear down there, and it does that for you. Okay. So now I mentioned I want to get a line, blank space. There are two ways to do that. You can just do print like that, and it will put a line. Another way to do that is in the spot where you're right before the apostrophe. There we go. I can do English. You're going to do a backspace N. Ooh, not a B, an N. And that will take care of the print line for you. So it'll print a blank line. If you leave both of these, it'll do two lines. So, and that is my email going off. We can ignore that if you heard it. So I'm going to comment the second one out, but I'm going to leave it up here so you can see both of them. To comment something out, which is comment just one line out, you do a hashtag kind of thing, #. Okay. Now, I'm also putting a space in there in my code. That's not going to do anything for what the user sees. This is for ease of reading for the programmer. So when you come back, it's not all your code's not mashed up in one line. It's kind of sectioned out. And it also helps people that are coming in behind you to do some coding so they can see what you were doing. All right. So we're going to start with getting the inputs we need. The first input is first name. And that's what we're assigning the variable to. So whatever the user inputs for their answer, it's going to be stored in this variable we called first name. And to get their information, we use the input function, and then I'm going to just say, whoops, first name, colon. Okay. Let's look at our template for a second because you notice the first name is capitalized, the last name is all caps, and we'll come back to this other stuff in a second. So to get the first name capitalized, Python has built-in functions that you can use. And one of them is dot capitalize. See how easy that is? When you use a function, though, you have to put parentheses at the end to show this is a function. Some of the functions we will tell you in the lesson videos. Other times you'll have to figure it out. And that is replicating your real world experience. When you go out and become a programmer, you're going to get a project and you're not going to know everything you have to do for that project. There is way too much. If we taught you every single thing you would ever have to know in programming, first of all, your degree would take like 11 years. And second, by the time we did, everything would change anyway. Coding is always updating and advancing, so you need to know how to find things. There are a couple ways to do that. Google is your friend. Just you would type in, how do I capitalize in Python? And a whole bunch of things will come up. You'll learn which sources are really useful, which sources are not. And that a lot of that depends on how you learn. And so some of them work for one person, but not for another. Another thing you can do is go to Python's documentation. They have great documentation. And so you could find out what's available that way. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing for last name. And the last name, you will notice in the thing, it was all caps. And so that function is upper. All right. Next, I have email. We're going to input the email. And then phone number. One thing I am going to do is put in some errors so you can see what that looks like, because no matter how many years you've been coding, you're going to make mistakes. So don't take that as a, oh no, I'm terrible at this or I failed. Like people have been coding for 50 years, get errors all the time. So troubleshooting and debugging is going to be important. This time I'm just going to show you some troubleshooting. Next time I'll show you the debugger. And put job title. Okay, now notice on the first name, it was capitalized. Last name, everything was capitalized, it was all uppercase. On this one, it's a little different because we want the first letter of each word capitalized. And so in this case, if I were to just put capitalized, it would only capitalize the first word and the rest would be lowercase. Fortunately, Python is awesome and has a function called title. And that will just capitalize the first letter in each word that they put. I also just realized in my email, let's say we want, the reason we put these functions in is because people type things in weird and we need it to be able to read and use the data the way we need it. And so we set these functions in to say, okay, I need everything this way so I can use it. For email, we want everything lowercase. And I didn't put that function. So I'm guessing if you realize there's an uppercase function that you will realize, okay, there's probably a lowercase one too. And yes, that is lower. Okay, job title and ID number. All right, again, I said we want to test things as we go, so let's do that. This isn't going to do anything except ask for the inputs. It won't do anything with them yet. So I'm going to push run. Okay, please enter the following information. First name, I will say Anne Marie. Last name, Awesome. Email 123 at 123.com. Phone number, uh, 7 dash, that's not dash, 7, or 888. I don't care if it's wrong. Job title, Queen of all that is good. Notice I typed this where only the first thing is capitalized, and I wanted you to see that Python should fix that for me. Um, okay, an ID number, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now that just inputted everything. It didn't do anything with the inputs because we haven't told it to. But the reason I tested it is to make sure that this part was at least working. There was no broken code. So we know that. All right. Now I'm going to clear this interface. All right. Step 3, we want to print the output using this template. And then it gave all those notes about the stuff that we did already up here. So to print out step 3, we're going to go below this. And oh, notice I had showed you how to do a single line comment with that hashtag, right, for the print on line 15. But when you want big bulks of comment, you do these 3 little backticks, type what you need, and it'll automatically put 3 more, but so you'll have to put your cursor between. So you want the 3 at the beginning, 3 at the end, and all of this is considered multi-line commenting in Python. All right. Now we're going to actually get our output. So we're going to tell it to print this information that we have inputted to the computer. And the first thing I'm going to do is get it to print another blank line. So good user experience, good visuals. There's not really a good place to put a backspace in here, so that's where the blank print function works well. All right, then we're going to say print the ID card is, and I want it to be just like this template, except for we're going to use our inputs to go in here. So the next thing will be that thing of dashes. Okay, so to make this really easy on ourselves, instead of counting all those dashes and making our eyes go, wonky from trying to see how did I count that one or did I not, I'm just going to copy and paste. And so I have print and then paste that in. That makes my life a lot easier. All right, now you should have learned two types of output to get. I use F strings instead of concatenation because it makes your life a lot easier. I love the F strings in Python, so that's what I'm going to use. So here, the next thing we need is the name. So I put the F for the F string, then the apostrophes or quotations, either one works. And you use these squiggle lines, and I've got to remind myself I've worn off all the keys on my keyboard. So sometimes I have to figure out where they are. I should marker them in. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is the last name. And then outside the squiggle, a comma and first name. Okay. Then print job title. Notice that it was pulling up the variables that it thinks I want. So sometimes it will give you some hints. Print ID. Oops. And look, wasn't getting hints, and it's because I forgot the squiggles. And so it's thinking, oh, she's giving me a string to put here. She's just going to tell me exactly what to print instead of asking me to get stuff. So I have to go back. And I noticed that because of the color change. Um, oh, and in our thing, we do need to put ID there, actually. So ID, because that is in our template, colon, and then I can put the function name, ID number. Yes. Now, this is one of the places where F strings are wonderful because if I had to do this with concatenation, I would have to put print, parentheses, quotation marks, ID, close quotation marks, space, plus sign, space, then the squiggles, then the ID number, then space, plus sign, space. With the F string, I can do it all in one thing, which is incredibly helpful. Okay, after the print ID, I am going to do, it's asking us for another space. So I could do the \n, but I'm just going to do the print here. And then I'm going to put print email. Oops, it helps if I actually do the F string email address. Now it's giving me a warning sign that something is something's off, a little hinky here. And that is this yellow thing, this yellow squiggles down here, but I'm going to ignore it because I did that error on purpose. So you could see what happens. And then print phone number. Okay. And then we need another one of these. I'm just going to copy and paste that whole line. Control C, go down, Control V. All right. We should do fine until we get to this line 51 here. If, unless there's a mistake I'm not seeing, which could happen. All right. I'm going to hit play. Please enter the following information. We're going to do this all again. Anne Marie, some email, 2, 3 at, where's my at? Yeah, I was on the wrong side keyboard. 123.com. Phone number. All right. Job title. Queen of all that is good. You'll see I left off some capitals again on purpose so you can see what happens. ID number. And now, there we go. So here we see, and I'm going to move this up a bit for you so you can see it a little better. All right, so it starts off with the ID card is. I get the lines. I get awesome, Anne Marie Awesome. And then notice it added the capitals in places I didn't for the title case that I needed, and it did the ID number. And then my program broke. And it gives me this error. Trace back, most recent call last, and it tells me name, and here's the error, name, email address is not defined. It's saying I can't find a variable named email address. Now I know what this error means, but let's say I didn't. You could literally just copy this error and paste it into Google or go to Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is a great place for debugging and figuring out problems with your code. Uh, and then paste it in and it will tell you, Stack Overflow, you have to wait for people to answer. So you might start with Google and or you could go to Stack Overflow and see if that error's been in there already, because someone will have encountered this and put it in, and there's probably already answers. All right, so it's saying email address is not found. I'm going to clear my terminal because I already know what the error is. If I didn't, I would leave that there so I could troubleshoot some more. All right, now I'm like, well, I know I asked it for its email. I did that in the input. Here's the difference. My variable was just named email, not email address. And so it's waiting for me to do an email, and here I've asked it for something we don't have. So to solve that, I just have to take off this address thing. And now it's giving me the nice pretty blue saying, oh, you've got it right. It took away the yellow warning sign and everything is fine. Always remember to save your code. I haven't been demonstrating that because I have my VS Code set to automatically save, but you probably don't yet. So go ahead and make sure you're always hitting Control S before you try to do anything. All right, let's run this again. Make sure we have it right. I should have corrected all the errors. Okay, first name. Let's see. This is the only boring part of having to test code is putting in inputs all the time. Whatever. Queen of the world. Got a promotion. I'm not just queen of all that's good. Now I'm queen of the world. ID number 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you see, there we go. We have the entire thing, our ID card, our lines. We have the, you know, complete uppercase here. We have capitalized here. We have title case here. Everything we need is listed. And so um, that's it for this week's code along. If you're stuck on assignments, you are welcome to reach out to me. I'm going to try to hold a once a week Zoom as time allows, but I'm also available. Like if you've gone through all the tutoring links that we have, like the tutors that are available, and they're still not able to help you, or you live in a place where they can't, there's no tutor available when you need it, let me know and I will set up a Zoom with you. I have over 70 students in this class, and so obviously I can't do a Zoom every week with everybody. So that's why I try to do a group one as the coding gets a little more complicated. I do record them and I will post them in Teams if you can't make it. So, and then there's also a troubleshooting channel in our Teams where you can, and sometimes that's the fastest thing. If you put it in the troubleshooting channel and say, I'm having trouble with this, make sure you post the code that you're having trouble with that you can't get right. And classmates, we're all here for each other and we will you're all to go in the troubleshooting channel and help others. You learn so much by helping other people with their code. So that will improve your understanding of Python as well. So I hope you enjoy the course and we'll see each other a lot this semester. All right. Thank you guys.